Today we are going to return to the topic of diamonds. To help with this, I have enlisted the help of Jeffrey's roommate, Abbey. You see, I am a cis-white male, and as such I have a certain degree of privilege, and this privilege does affect the way that I might view certain things. And I also have a tendency to forget things that I should remember before I talk about things. So with all that in mind, I have invited Abbey to come along to give their own interpretation of how they view the diamonds. Because I think having more than one perspective is very, very important, again, especially since I have one of the most privileged view sets, and it's important to listen to other people who are not like you. So, take it away, Abbey.
First and foremost, major spoilers for Steven Universe ahead. Specifically, Season 5, especially from Season 5, Episode 18, A Single Pale Rose, and forward, though I am mostly going to be talking about the last 5 episodes of Season 5 today. Regardless, spoilers! Anyway, I agree with some of what Singing Guy is saying about grief, especially when it comes to yellow and blue, but the idea that White's denial about Pink not even being dead coming solely from grief, I think doesn't really dig deep enough into what's going on here. I think the reason that White believes that Pink isn't gone is because she just factually believes that Steven is Pink. Not out of grief, but out of mistaken identity. That's Pink's gem, so it must just be Pink. This is further shown in Diamond Days, which is the special event they had when they released the final episodes of Steven Universe. In Legs from Here to Homeworld, Season 5, Episode 24, we see that Yellow is acting like Steven is Pink, asking questions like, "Don't you remember?" and "There must be a way to bring your memory back." In the next episode, Familiar, that's Season 5, Episode 25, there's a moment where Blue does refer to Steven as Steven, but then immediately giggles and says something along the lines of, "Oh, Pink, you're so funny." As if calling Steven Steven isn't because that's who he is, it's just a cute game that Pink is playing. We even see Steven beginning to doubt his own identity, and it all comes to a head in the final episode. White is laying into him, and we see Steven is doubting who he really is. Maybe he is Pink. Now, I'm not going to tell you what happens, because it's one of the most beautiful moments, I think, in animation ever, not to mention in TV. But we get irrefutable proof that Steven is Steven. It is shown to us, it is shown to White, and most importantly, it's shown to Steven. And that's really why I disagreed with the part about the denial being about grief. Because I don't see it about the Diamond story of accepting their grief. I see it about Steven's story of accepting himself. It's a huge moment when Steven finally can stand there and say, "I'm me, I've always been me." That's not about grief for his mom, that's about finally knowing and accepting himself. The whole idea of Steven going back to a disconnected family and then mistaking his identity, calling him the wrong name, saying, "Physically, you have that gem, therefore you must be that person. Because you physically have a certain part. You're this person." Sounds a lot like a coming out story to me. Also sounds a lot like people not being able to accept a trans person's identity. And yes, I am non-binary, so I do have a certain perspective watching this show. I'm not saying Singing Guy is wrong. I mean, he can have his perspective and I can have mine. It's not like the creator of the show then went forward to say that this specific story arc was based on their experiences coming out as non-binary, and it's certainly not like they went forward to write a children's book about this very story and then dedicated that children's book to trans and gender expansive kids. But in all seriousness, yes, art is subjective and you can take the show in different ways, and it can mean different things to you. I just know that Rebecca Sugar, the creator of the show, is non-binary and has said that this is based on them coming out. And it's also something I felt a lot, and a lot of my friends felt too, and I wanted to make sure that was highlighted as well. White accepting Pink is gone in those final moments isn't about getting past her grief, I don't think. It's not even really about White accepting Pink is gone. That's a side effect of White accepting that Steven is Steven. Anyway, if you have any further thoughts, feel free to comment them below. And thank you, Singing Guy and Jeffrey, for letting me steal the camera for a bit. I won't see you next time, but I'll be in the background helping to cut these things together. Bye. I love you, Rebecca Sugar. You're amazing and you're an inspiration.